UK time. My name is Carl. You are very welcome to join us, and I'm glad you have joined us on this Facebook Live, YouTube Live question and answer session hosted by me on behalf of TEFL.org. Thank you very much. If you're out there, please let me know that you're there. Tell me your name and tell me where you are in the world. I love and I get very jealous sometimes of seeing all the locations around the world where we broadcast to. And then let me tell you a little bit about me in case you have no idea who I am, if you haven't been watching these Friday afternoon videos. So I'm Carl. I've been teaching for a number of years. Makes me feel old when I say it. Around the world, I've been lucky enough to teach in Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Japan. Where is I? Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. I taught in Iraq for a bit. Then I came back to the UK and I currently live in Belfast. And from here, I work as a teacher trainer on behalf of TEFL.org. So when the world is back to normal, if you do any teacher training on the island of Ireland, north or south, you will hopefully maybe meet me. And I'd love to meet you all if you are out here. And I can see all the hellos coming in. Hello. Ahoy there. That's a very nautical way, Miss Nomad or Mr. Nomad overseas. Frederic, hello. Antonia, hello. Carol, oh, Alan in Dublin, Northampton, someone in the UK. Hello, Victoria, Manchester, Aop from North Yorkshire, Brussels, London. No one that exotic at the moment. Nigeria. Sorry, I missed Oluwapu from Nigeria. Nice to see you. Lily from Lebanon. Brilliant. So now the hot places are coming in. So basically, if you have any sort of questions at all about the industry of teaching English as a foreign language, please put them into the comments section. I will try my best to answer them. If not, we have the fantastic Alan monitoring the chat and putting up all these fancy bits down the bottom here. And he is also a minefield of information, and he will put some links in or anything like that that might help you. But the subject of today's webinar is teaching mixed ability classes. So that's what I'm going to start by talking. And if you do have questions or if you have any experience of teaching mixed ability classes, please put it in the chat. But we don't have to solely talk about that. We can talk about any sort of questions. If you're thinking of becoming a teacher, if you're already a teacher, if you've got any sort of questions, put them in there and I will try my best to answer them. Holland is quite exotic. Yes, southern Spain is a bit exotic. Heathrow is not exotic, Peter. I'm sorry. Kildare, El Salvador. Tony, you're winning so far, I think, with El Salvador. Right. So why do we have to talk about mixed ability classes? Because it is something that you will come up with when you teach. Okay, pretty much every country I've worked in and then every school within those countries, I have been faced with mixed ability classes. So what do I mean by mixed ability is you might have within a class of say 10, 15 people, if you're in a physical classroom, you might have some people that are a relatively high level and some people that are a relatively low level. So you might have problems with people having quite good level of grammar, people having a quite poor level of grammar, all in the same room together, vocabulary levels, that kind of thing. You also might have something like if you have different nationalities. Some nationalities are naturally good at speaking. So, for example, a lot of Arabic countries, when they're learning English, they're pretty strong speakers, but they tend to be a little bit weaker on writing. And whereas Chinese students can be quite good at writing, but lower at speaking. So you might have different sub-levels within the group of within the skills, that kind of thing. So it's something you've got to be aware of in a physical classroom. Can also happen within online classes if you do teach groups within an online class. Okay, great. So I'm just gonna stop there to answer some questions because I can see some have already coming in. Hello, everyone that said hello to me. I can't keep up with you all. Thank you very much, everybody, for saying hello. Hello. Can I teach English if I'm Italian? And if I can, what do I need? Right, that's a really interesting question. Basically, the fact that you're Italian makes no difference at all. So I work non-COVID times. I work quite a lot in Italy. I work in a lot of schools, and within those schools, there are teachers that might be native speakers of English like me, but there are also lots of non-native Italian speakers within language schools and within universities and within high schools or primary schools in Italy. So it's definitely something you can do. So if you're looking for jobs in Italy for teaching English, that's something you can do. All right, definitely it can. And then also, if you are a non-native speaker of English, you can also teach English abroad if that is something that you want to do, or you can teach English online if that is also something you want to do. Okay, so yes, question there. Second one is, if I can, what do I need? Okay, so the basic qualification that you need that is accepted generally by schools either online or schools around the world is 120-hour TEFL accredited, I'm going to get to accredited in a minute, course. Now basically what that is you pay the money to a provider like us, TEFL.org, you set yourself up and then you study the theory behind learning English on some sort of online course, some sort of online module, some sort of online learning environment. You do the tasks, you do everything like that. Pass all those, you get yourself a certificate. You've got yourself a 120-hour certificate of English, of teaching English. You then apply. You find jobs and you then apply. So that is the basic way of doing it. And, you know, that's how the majority of people that I teach, the majority of people that I train to be teachers start by doing it. Okay, so if you look like something, for example, if you want more information, this is our website. If you type into the top TEFL.org, you can see there's lots of information here about how to become a TEFL teacher. Now, the key thing is that you look for this accredited word. Whoever you go with, whether you go with us or there are other people that also provide this, but obviously we hope you come with us because our tutors are so friendly. Can't you see how friendly we are? The key thing is to make sure that it is accredited by a good body that will check it thoroughly. Okay, so go and look. If you look at us, look at our accreditations, see that we're not linked to them. They just come and check us and they make sure that everything is of a high quality. And then, because if you do go for one that is not accredited, you might have problems getting work long term because people will think, well, it's not a very good course you've done. So Wajid, just to help you there's a question a couple down from MMs, how to join this course and a fee. Okay, so if you have a look, you can see at the moment we've got a special 50% off our 120-hour classes, our courses. Click on that, special offers, go through there. You can find out the 120-hour is currently £159.50. Okay, so that's the standard one that will get you work. Okay, Wajid, hope that helps you. Okay, good. Dave, hi. You do not have an academic degree. You're interested in TEFL, British soldier, 25 years. You're thinking of TEFL at the age of 60. Good for you, mate. Lovely. Okay, right. So you don't need a degree to teach English as a foreign language. It helps if you're looking to move to Asia if you have a degree. But if you're teaching within the European Union or within European countries like Dave is here, generally a lot of schools will take people on without a degree. Okay, they just want you to have that teaching certificate that I just spoke about for a few minutes there and showed you the website. Okay, Dave. So if you're interested in TEFL, have a look on our website, look at the course. There's some information there about what it involves. Look at it if it's something that you can do, and then just go for it. And then at the end of it, you'll have a teaching certificate, which will then allow you to either go into language schools in Prague or will help you to set yourself up. Now, if you live in Prague, Dave, and you've got sort of a few local contacts, people you know within Prague, you might want to think about setting yourself up as an independent teacher. So in a lot of European countries, you have a teacher like myself or like you would be, and you maybe put some adverts up on Gumtree, you maybe put some adverts up on pieces of paper around, like in backpacker hostels or with in pubs. You might go to language exchanges, something like this, try and get some students. Obviously the virus is an issue with that sort of thing at the moment, but try and get yourself some work there. Dave, you will definitely, don't worry about the age of 60 doing it. You will definitely get some work, I'm sure, in Prague. There are loads of languages schools in Prague. Okay, good. Alison, hello from North Wales. Frankie, any tips for teaching Japanese students? Oh, you don't get me. I love Japan. I spent about 15 months of my life in Japan, and I would love to go back there. Right. Japanese are some of my favorite students to teach. They tend to be quite cultural. They tend to be quite, culturally aware. Although sometimes what they think of culture can be, in my opinion, a bit different from what I think of British culture, for example. But they tend to be quite well behaved. However, they do tend to be quite quiet. They do tend to be quite shy. They tend to be a little bit worried about making mistakes, and that can hold people back with learning the language if they're too scared about making a mistake and losing face. Okay, so key thing, if it's young learners in Japan, make them quite competitive. Japanese people are quite sporty and quite well coordinated, and for example, do you know what I found when I went there? How well kids could throw and how well kids could catch. They were really sort of sporty, that kind of thing. So, throw in games where you throw a piece of paper to answer questions, run to the boards, get them active, get them open, get them talking, lots of pair work, lots of competitive games, lots of just keep the energy level high, act the fool yourself. Don't let your energy sort of fall down like this, Frankie. Be keen, be happy, show them that it's okay to act a bit like a fool in a class, and then just go from that. That's what I would do. But also be aware that in Japan, they spend a lot of money on English teaching. I think it's on English learning. I think it's the most of any country in the world. It's sort of billions of pounds, but still the language level is quite low in Japan. And I personally think that has a lot to do with Japanese personality. Okay. Any thoughts on that one? Put that in the chat. That would be a lovely one for anybody to get involved. Lizzie, hello. Thought online classes would be one-to-one. Sounds difficult to teach mixed ability classes. Right. The majority of online classes are one-to-one, for sure. Okay. I hardly ever teach group classes, mainly because I don't personally really enjoy them online. Okay. I like teaching one-on-one, and I have my own private students who I teach one-on-one. Okay. Having people online in groups can be difficult, especially if there's a long number. But if you're going to teach kids online, it's definitely something that will happen. So it's something you've got to be a bit aware of. Okay, so how can you deal with this if you do have mixed ability groups? Say you've got 4 students, put them into breakout rooms and mix them up as much as you can. If you've got 6, same thing. Any sort of number, mix them up as much as you can. If you've got 2 and they're mixed ability, or if you've got 2 and then mixed ability, just make sure that you sort of correct the stronger one a bit more. So you might be a bit more fussy with your error correction to push them a little bit more. With the lower level one, you might make them a little bit more, you might let a few more things go just to try and build their confidence, that kind of thing. That is also a rule that you can have with groups, quite large groups. So, error correction is a big one. You could also set extra homework if you need to, okay? So, give maybe an extra write-in, freer practice activity to someone. That might mean more marking for you, but will generally keep them happy. You can also get the stronger one involved in a little bit of teaching if they're that ability, just sort of asking them, check in with them. Oh, do you know what I need to do here? That kind of thing. Just keep them involved. It is something that you could happen, okay? Marie Claire, hello. Do you get paid less, more, or the same amount when you teach? I think you get paid exactly the same amount. There's no sort of difference between mixed ability ones that you have. Okay, no, there's no sort of rate of pay difference at all. I think that's a pretty quick one to answer. Okay, Renata, this is a question I've never been asked before in my life. Thank you. Is there a market for teaching English in French Polynesia? French Polynesia sounds lovely. Is that? I don't know where that is. Is that around there somewhere? Oh, I can't work it out. Is it around there somewhere? French Polynesia? I don't know. It sounds lovely. I have no idea. Is the short answer, Renata? I'm sorry, you'll have to Google that one. I've never been asked that before, and I've not asked that one. Okay, good. Lily, hello. Is that a question to me or is that a question to Maya? But let me see if I can answer it. Lily, if we don't have any teaching experience, how are we supposed to start teaching? Everybody starts with no teaching experience. Everybody at some point, I almost 20 years ago had no experience, flew off to Vietnam, got plonked in front of a class in Vietnam. Hi, I'm so scared. Nice to meet you. I'm the most nervous person in the world right now. Stuck to the theory, stuck to what I learned on the course, got it through bit by bit by bit by bit. Okay, good. Tony, or Tony, I don't know. You're interested in an international certification? Give me more info. Right, so basically, like I said earlier, go for one that's accredited, basically. So look for, when you're looking for your TEFL certification, check the accreditation people underneath. Okay, so at the bottom, I'm just going to see if I can find, let me just give you an example on our website. We have at the bottom of our website, we have internationally accredited and market leading TEFL course provider. That's what it says there. And then we've got some pictures of the companies that we are accredited by. Okay, so search through them. Okay, you'll see accreditation photos at the bottom of a lot of websites. Do your own research. Make sure that they are accredited bodies that are not just going to accredit one company. They should accredit a lot of range of companies, and then that way they're a good one, and that way it will be recognized around the world. Okay. James, hello. How do you know a provider is genuinely TEFL accredited? I think I just answered that one, James. You just check the bits at the bottom and you go through. So, for example, if there's an accreditation, if they've got one or two, and you Google those accreditors and the website doesn't look very professional, they haven't been going for very long, alarm bells. Okay, check ours out as well. Please check ours out as well before you spend your money. Azeda, hello. You're an Iranian and living in France, but from the day you learned French language, okay, your English accent has got worse. Right. Accent is a strange thing because everybody will have some sort of accent when they speak a foreign language. I mean, it's only sort of people that have really, really sort of lived in lots of countries. Even these people that you read about that can speak sort of 15, 20 languages, they'll have different accents. Okay, so, don't try and reduce your accent. What you need to concentrate is on the phonetic alphabet of English and making sure that you can get your individual sounds correct. So, if you type into Google type in IPA English, International Phonetic Alphabet English. There'll be some websites you can click on where you can hear the sounds of English. There'll be some websites that can give you some tips on doing that thing, and just make sure that you can say the sounds individually. Okay, and also Google, in your case, Google what problems Iranian learners of English have. So if you type into Google something along the lines of Iranian learners of English pronunciation problems, you'll find loads of them for Iranian people, and you'll see what are the common ones, work on those. If you can do the same for French people, that kind of thing. Okay, good. All right. Good. Christine, hello. Why do people ask questions about general TEFL? What about teaching mixed ability classes? Are you telling me that I've gone off course, Christine, and I'm not talking about general TEFL? I think you are. So let me talk a bit more about mixed ability classes. Okay, so one of the situations that you come up with a lot of mixed ability classes is in business English. So, for example, when I lived in Japan, I got sent to a lot of companies, and the company would pay for me to to teach 20 people, say, from their work office or their office. Maybe if it's quite a big office, they'd let me do 5 classes, and they would allow me to put speech to do them in levels, to work out the levels. But a lot of the time you just go in there, you've got 20 people in front of you, they've not been level tested, you've got no idea, teach them. Okay, key thing is to find out a needs analysis for them. If they're adults, different if they're kids, and I'll get to kids probably at some point, but if they're adults, mixed ability classes, find out what each one of them wants. So you might find the high level ones want to be able to give a presentation in English, for example. Better set everyone little presentations, even the low level ones, you know. So the higher level ones, you can get them to talk about something that's a bit more complicated. The lower level ones, they might talk about their favorite singer, or they might talk about their favorite band or something like that. Okay, favorite football player. That way you can get them all, and you get more time to hear them one-on-one, and you would get them to actually sort of be able to error correct them more, because you can hear them more and that kind of thing. So that's something that you can do. All right. The other thing you can do about mixed ability classes that I find is quite a lot of range of tasks. So make sure you're hitting all 4 of the skills. Okay, so make sure you're hitting the reading, because although some people might think they're really good speakers, they might struggle with the reading. So make sure within a lesson that you give them each of the 4 skills. Okay, you give them a bit of reading, give them a bit of writing, a bit of speaking, and a bit of listening, so that they can work all 4 of the skills together. Okay, now if they're kids, one of the good ways of keeping them in a mixed ability classes going is to have some sort of task where there's some sort of competitive edge to it, but you might do something along the lines of making sure the weakest person writes. You can't let any of the stronger ones write. If you're doing that, the weaker one can't just sit back and do nothing. The weaker ones have to listen. They have to sort of ask, how do you spell that kind of thing. Get them involved in that. Keeping the weakest ones involved, but learning from the stronger ones. Okay, good. Please, any more specific questions about mixed ability classes, get them in there. Carol, can you teach online with the qualification rather than traveling at the moment? Yes, you can teach them online with our qualification for sure. That is something that we offer. It's something that you can do. We also offer modules and extra courses about teaching online if that is something that you want to do. Okay, good. Hello, Eddie. Glad you've just passed. Congratulations. Right. Sean, what's the best methods for teaching mixed ability children in schools? Okay, that's a good question. Right, so hopefully you can give them a general test, a general sort of placement test. Hopefully that is something that you can do. And if they don't offer some sort of placement test, but you've got quite a large number, enough for 2 classes, then definitely sort of speak to your centre manager and see what you can do about getting a placement test in for that kind of thing. All right, okay. Mixed ability, definitely. If students, young learners, I like to do them in small groups. So if you're in a physical classroom, which you say in a school, you know, in the groups, make sure you've got maybe 2 strong, 2 weak together. And within that group, you can partner them off, make sure you're switching all the partners all the time. So the strongs are speaking to each other sometimes, the strong weak sometimes, and weak together. That way they're sort of alternating all together. They're learning from each other. They're helping for each other. Again, make it competitive. Make sure that you give points, not for the first one on the table to finish, but for when all of the class has finished. All of that group is finished, if you see what I mean. So don't say, right, I'm going to give 10 points to the person that finishes first. No, 10 points to the group that finishes first, or the pair that finishes first. That kind of thing. Monitor really carefully to make sure there's no sort of cheating or that kind of thing. Keep them speaking in English all the time. Okay, good. Hope that helps you there, Sean. Brendan, hello. You did voluntary teaching in Bolivia. That sounds lovely last year. You had an assistant some days. Right. Okay, so is it advisable for the assistant to teach the basic class? That's a really good question, because the problem you've got, if you've got the assistant to teach the advanced class, then the advanced class might get annoyed with having someone who they think's on a similar level of English. Okay, so that is something you've got to be a bit aware of. Okay, but I'm a little bit confused by there is I would not divide the class in the first place if I was you. I would make sure, like I was just saying, that you switch the partners, that you keep everyone sort of rotating all the time and making sure that everybody gets a bit of time with you, because you don't want people to lose motivation for then the basic people. If they're not speaking to you, they might think, well, why am I here with Mr. Brendan when I can learn from the teaching assistant anywhere? Okay, so I would not have divided it. I don't know what the numbers were, whether that was the sort of thing you were to do, but I personally would not have divided it. Okay, good. Lizzie, you'll be teaching French students in your home. Lots of activities needed to keep their children home. Okay, so if they're in your house, are very good. Lots of activities. Well, just basically look at the cultural things around you. Okay, they love little trips out. If you can take them for trips out, that's the sort of thing that you need. That would be good. Just, you know, generally for homestays, that sort of thing. When I've done homestays, is you sort of do 4 hours of teaching in the morning and then go out in the afternoon, or vice versa, that kind of thing. All right. Megan, TEFL certification for Americans. Our one is worldwide. Go for that one. There's no special one for Americans. Louisa, how do we teach mixed ability groups in person? So basically, just be friendly. You know, I don't think there's much difference in the way you sort of are. It's more in sort of the amount of pair work you're switching and the types of activities that you're giving them. So, you know, be aware that you're going to have some fast finishers. What is a quick follow-on activity you're going to do with these fast finishers? Are you going to, for example, give them an extra writing activity? So you might say, okay, can you just write another 50 words? Something like that. You might even have a set of questions. So you might give 3 questions to the class and have 2 more in your back pocket just to give out in case they're a bit too quick. You could be really huge on the error correction and make sure that the higher ones are definitely hitting quite a high level of accuracy. You know, if they're sort of, well, I finished that one. You know, say, okay, well done, you're fast, but look how inaccurate you are. Okay, you know, underline. Be a bit careful. You don't want to really knock their confidence too much, and you also don't want them to lose face if it's a business English class where you keep pushing down someone for having lots of inaccuracy if their English is quite good. But just make them a bit aware that sometimes quality is better than quantity or speed. Okay, good. Rani, hello. You've done 120 hours, and now you want some advice on how to get started, please. Okay, if you've done the certification, start applying for jobs, Rani. Look on our TEFL jobs. Look on TEFL.org jobs section. Lots of jobs listed on there. See how you can get work there. Just start applying. Just go for it. Okay, good. Right, question. Jasmine, hello. How easy is it to become an online tutor through the pandemic with a TEFL qualification? You're looking to do the course throughout your gap year. Right, so the TEFL.org ourselves do not help you to find students. What we do is we teach you or train you to find them yourself. Okay, so last week, Jasmine, I did a video like this on how to get your own students. Might be worth looking back on that and watching that one. Lots of tips on how to get your own students. Okay, but you get your qualification. Then if you want to teach online, start applying for jobs, see if they fit in with your schedule, that kind of thing. Get yourself some work here. Okay, good. All right, that you know, we won't personally help you, but we'll show you how to do it, if that makes sense. Okay. NJ, hello. You taught English in the 90s, okay, and you're now studying with TEFL, age 50. Congratulations. Yeah, NJ, it will. Unfortunately, the Brexit thing is a bit of a problem. I've already found that I'm losing some work that I usually do a lot in Spain and Italy. Okay, so the problem you got is there's now a lot more. There's, the Dutch school will have to maybe fill in some paperwork, maybe even pay some fees in order for you to work there. Are they willing to do that one? Okay, I don't know. The thing is, it's still quite early, NJ, and also because we're in the pandemic, people aren't really moving over to Spain a lot. But I think at the moment it's definitely affecting some work. Yeah, good. Great tips about the accent there, everybody. Thomas, hello. In Japan, is there a sub-market for business lessons? Yes. Business English is one of the big things in Japan. It was about a third of all my teaching. If you go and work for an employer, you will probably go and work for business English. It's a thing. It's also quite a good thing if you can set yourself up as to do in Japan individually. Lots of competitions. Okay, good. Don't worry about being off topic. How many exams to get a TEFL qualification? There's no real exams. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, on the online course. I don't think there are. What you need to do is be able to pass the assignments. And if you don't pass them first time, then you'll get help in order to get through them a second time. Okay, good. Fiona, what is a placement test? Now, it's a key part of mixed ability classes is a placement test. So basically, before the students have you as a teacher, they should take some sort of basic test where you or the company that you work for grade the students so you can put them in the levels. So if a student's grammar is pretty bad, they can't write past tenses, for example, they can't speak past tenses, they might be in one of the lower classes. The ones that can speak high level, can speak with quite a high level of accuracy, might be in the higher groups, and you can sort of say, right, okay, if you've got 20 students, this one's the strongest, then you go down to this one being the weakest. Then if you can, ideally, you'd separate them into 2 classes, something like that. Depends on the number of numbers you've got. So a placement test is what the students take before they actually have the class in front of you. Okay, and then you adapt your teaching to that. Iwanir, you have a French accent but fluently in English. Advise me to improve my speech, please. Well, basically, there's lots of tips going through here about how to improve your speech. I would, if you are really worried about your accuracy, make sure that your accent. Make sure that your grammar is of a high level. You'd be surprised. I bet your accent's not as bad as you think it is. Concentrate on the individual phonemes if you're as good in English as you say you are, Iwanir. Rebecca, hello. You're home to teach English to Chinese students online than in person. What should be your level of Chinese? Makes no difference at all what your level of Chinese is. Students aren't paying you to speak Chinese to them, Rebecca. They are paying you to speak English to them. I lived in China for about a year, worked in China a lot, can't speak a word of Chinese, got by absolutely perfectly. Schools don't want you to go in there and speak Chinese. Schools want you to go in there and speak English. Okay. Amia, hello. What's the difference between a TEFL and a CELTA? Right, a CELTA is a lot more expensive, and a CELTA is a longer course. Okay, so you got to take a lot. It takes up a lot more of your time. Okay. If you are, first of all, getting into teaching, you're not sure if it's for you, you just want to see what it's like, definitely do something like the 120-hour course. It's cheaper, will get you up and running much more quickly. Then 2 or 3 years' time, you quite like it, you've got a month off, something like that, do the CELTA, will lift your wages, get you going a bit longer, but it's a lot of money and a lot of time, and also has quite a high fail rate. I have one, and it was a very difficult month of my life, the CELTA. So just make sure that you're really into it before you embark on the CELTA. Okay, good. John, definitely agree with you there. Fiona, if you have a small class and a few students are a lot weaker, what do you recommend? The main problem is that the students cannot be separated and must... Right, so as I said, Fiona, make sure that you give the stronger ones time with each other so they can make sure that they're speaking at a high level, but also flip them around a bit so that maybe the stronger ones can help the weaker ones a bit. Everybody likes to show off their English, that kind of thing, help them that. Make sure you personally get round the whole class. So you spend a bit of time speaking to the stronger ones and make sure that you're error correcting them a bit. They didn't pay you just to have a little chat. They've paid you to learn. So make sure that you're sort of helping them and really increasing their level like that. Okay, getting their money's worth. Okay, have extra work for the stronger ones. Have maybe like extra homework. Give them extra stronger tasks. That kind of thing. Make sure you're doing all the skills. So because probably one of their skills will be weaker. So make sure that the reading ones are also tested. Now, if you've got, for the weaker ones, if you're giving them 10 reading questions, make sure that they know that at their level 3, 4 is enough. Okay. Make sure it's good. Sort of make them a bit aware that, that people learn differently, different speeds, that kind of thing. Get them going. All right. I think that's it. Oh, needs analysis. That's the other thing. I don't know if I've already spoken about this. Make sure you find out what each of them want. Do the weaker ones just want to get some speaking practice out of it? Then make sure you give them a bit of speaking practice. The stronger ones want to get something very specific out of it. Make sure that you give that to them in the course. All right. Make sure that they feel they're learning. Make sure that they feel like they're getting their money's worth. Okay. James, hello. Is there a set rate for TEFL teachers? No, is the short answer. There's a short answer to that. It depends where you are in the world. Wages vary a lot if you're going to be around the world. Ballpark for native UK based is basically, I think if you go work at a local college teaching ESOL, you're probably going to learn some, depending on where you are in the UK, somewhere between £20 and £30 an hour. So that's what I always look for as a minimum myself. But James, that question, pardon me, goes to how much you're happy to learn from. Okay, good. Maro, you don't need both a TEFL and a CELTA, one or the other. Fine. As a foreigner, less chance to get a job or students. I'm not so sure. You will see jobs for native speakers only. That is unfortunately a fact of English speaking, and it's incorrect. That shouldn't happen. But definitely go for that. Alua, hello. You're a nurse by background. You plan to complete the TEFL certificate. Some schools are still recruiting. They are, I think. Is there any specific top-up course I could use? Not really. I don't think that we do a English for medicine module. I don't think so. What I would do is I would Google the OET medical course exam. OET. See if you can get yourself involved in that. See if you can do that. Okay, good. Anastasia, recommend online platforms to find students. You've got to get yourself your own website going, Anastasia. That is the long term, the best way to do it. While you're doing that, maybe get yourself some Facebook groups. I don't think there is a specific place to go to find all these students. Work around. Instagram works for some people. TikTok, no idea what that is, but apparently I've heard that's a good way of getting students at the moment. I have no idea. Is that a clock? Rosa. Interesting one. You're teaching adults in many different age ranges. If they're all above 18, that's very standard. I've had classes where I've had 17, 18-year-olds and 70/80-year-olds. Okay. Right. That's an interesting one about the pair activity. So I did actually know of someone recently with the pair activities that they got them to do it by phone. I don't know if that's something that you could do. Like on the Wi-Fi, for example, they did either sort of speaking like that through Facebook Messenger or something like that, or they also got them to type into shared documents so they were working together, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's something that's possible wherever you are in the world, Rosa. Right, the pair activities is definitely difficult in the times of COVID. Depends if they've got masks on and that kind of thing. Luckily for me, it's not something I've had to come across. So if anyone's got any tips, please put them in there. I'm going to keep thinking about that one. I'm really sorry, Rosa. Please help you. Great, good. Some tips there about placement tests. Lovely. Dave, hello. Am I British? Yes. I would have thought there's a market for mother tongue British, regardless of Brexit. It's true. But people want to learn, in my experience, especially in Asia, people would rather learn American English than British English. You see you see jobs out there which I couldn't go for because I don't have American English. Good, lovely questions. Michelle, do you have some advice about teaching to bigger classes, 15 plus, that are mixed ability and also kids with high energy and difficult to control? Do you know what? That actually sounds like one of my favourite types of classes. I love those ones. Much prefer a high energy class to a low energy class. Right. 15 plus is pretty much the size that all of my young learner classes have been around the world. So I'm not necessarily sure that they're bigger than normal. Mixed ability, put them in groups, give them competitions where the weaker ones have to do something in order to get the points. Very, very strict on English only. Don't let the stronger ones just say the answer in Spanish to the weaker ones. You know, really stay on that. Really deduct points. Be really strict with your English only so that they're all practicing. You know, see if you can rotate them a bit. See if you can pair them off a little bit so the stronger ones are together, but then sometimes they're with the weak ones. You know, make sure you're always swapping the partners with them. Keep them moving the whole time. That's what I always find about high energy ones. They're difficult to control. Michelle, look at your own self. It might not be them that's the problem. The problem might be the way that you handle them in terms of your control of the rules and in terms of you know, any sort of punishments or praise you give for that kind of thing. All right, okay. Dave, hello. Just to follow on, just in case I misunderstood or missed the answer, do you think Brits can still teach in Europe regardless of Brexit? You're asking me questions about migration that I just don't know. At the moment, I know for some of the companies that I work for, they have said I'm not allowed to go there on my British passport. Whether that's true for the whole of Europe, I don't know, but that is something that that happens. Okay. If there's any more questions coming, I think we're going to wrap this up in a minute, guys. So if you do have any more questions that you're burning to ask, please put them in there. Thank you, Alan. Yes, Preply, Italki, or Cambly are good ones. Alan, well, this is a nice one to finish with. You're in California. You're in California. Congratulations. Invites, 24 hours advance. We have been putting this all over social media for quite a while, I think, Alan. I noticed that there was some some Facebook stories going up about this a few days ago. We do them in advance. Guys, I'm really sorry if I didn't speak as much as I wanted to about mixed ability classes. These things, I want them to make it as interactive as possible. And Alison, I can't put your question in again. I missed yours. So I want to make this as as interactive as possible. So I do answer the questions that come in. Okay. Key takeaways about mixed abilities are to keep them rotated, try and keep everyone a bit happy if you've got adults in terms of giving them what they want. Okay. Things like the amount of error correction you do, be a bit stronger, a bit more harsher, correct more errors on the stronger ones, bit less maybe on the weaker ones. Okay. Within boundaries, you don't want to push it too hard with the stronger ones. And if you got kids, lots of tasks where the young learners, the weaker ones also have to get involved in order for them to get some points or something like that, is something that always works. Alison, I can't see your question. Type it in there quick before I go. Just let me scroll back. Where is it? I can't see it. Alan, if you can see it, put it out there. Sorry, Alison, I can't see your question. I'm really sorry, but put it in there if you can. There you go. You have a TESOL qualification already. Can I teach in this country? I don't know what your country is. Are you talking about the UK? If you have a TESOL qualification, yes, you can go and teach at local colleges in the UK. Is that what you're asking? If you need to contact your local colleges or your local language schools and see if they'll take you with whatever qualification you have. Alison, does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, I teach a lot in the UK within universities and also within local further education colleges. If that answers your question, Alison. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all you're there. Yes, you can also teach online with it, Alison. Rani, this is on every Friday generally. Some weeks we might have like a guest speaker come in, but generally on a Friday I'm here or someone else is here. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. Bye everybody.